You're watching news that gets to the point on KATC TV3, Acadiana's news channel.
Still wait for Nick to call me every day like he did before, you know, see what's going on.
The point is, though, this should have never happened. You get your guys in, you get them in, get them to safe harbors, so this doesn't have to happen again.
Imagine working offshore and being left at sea as a tropical storm crashes in. It's been almost 2 months since this happened to 10 offshore workers, and 4 were from Louisiana. 2
of those offshore workers, Jeremy Parfait of Homa and Ted Dereese Jr. of New Iberia, watched their friends die as they were waiting to be rescued. The survivors talk exclusively with KATC's Melissa Hawks about the terrifying days they'll never forget.
That's what makes me even more angry, is that I couldn't get no backup. I couldn't get any help. I mean, none.
Captain Jeremy Parfait says on September 8th, he made countless calls to the company his crew worked for, Geokinetics, saying they needed to evacuate, but no one came to the rescue. In fact, the one vessel, the Mermaid Vigilance, which Parfait says was supposed to be on standby, left them.
Take us out of here. We don't want to stay here. He said, no, Cap, it's not safe. I'm not staying here.
Parfait and his 9 crew members were 11 miles off the coast in the Bay of Campeche working on the Trinity II, a lift boat like this one. On Thursday, the conditions got worse as the storm moved in, with winds reaching 95 miles per hour.
We were flat in the water with 25-foot seas rolling right over the top.
Engineer Ted Dereese Jr. says the vessel's legs were breaking and the crew had no other choice but to go in the water. Parfait made his last calls for help.
12-man life raft, and one after the other, we just deployed into the water in a single file line.
The men first tried to evacuate into an inflatable covered lifeboat like this one, equipped with food, medicine, and water, but the wind blew it away. So they were left with a 12-man raft without any supplies.
All we had was to hold on that raft with rope. That was it. I mean, that was it. You would be vomiting underwater. I mean, it was unbearable.
Aaron Howling, a worker from Australia, lost his grip the first night.
Screaming and hollering, help, help, help.
And when we would go up, we could hear them. Then when the seas would come up, it would put a wall around and we couldn't hear them anymore.
After 2.5 hours of swimming, the men were too tired to keep going.
We didn't want nobody to get negative.
On Friday, the storm started to die down. Dereese says the waves were 15 to 20 feet high, but the elements were beginning to take a toll on some of the men, like 32-year-old Craig Myers.
Everything was hurting on him. He was freezing, he was cold. He was calling, he was saying that he wanted to go home, you know.
Yeah, he just didn't know where he was.
As day 2 came to a close, the men were miles away from the Trinity II, floating aimlessly in the Gulf. All were sunburned, dehydrated, and a few were starting to hallucinate. But Parfait and Dereese still believed they'd be rescued soon. Melissa Hawks reporting for KATC TV3.
Dereese and Parfait, along with the father of Craig Myers, filed a lawsuit against the companies involved. Tomorrow night, the men describe the last 2 days of their nightmare at sea, talking about their rescue and where they go from here.
Now, your Storm Team 3 24-hour True View forecast.
A healthy little cool front on the way first thing tomorrow morning, producing showers right now across southeast Texas, and we'll see a few showers developing overnight tonight and into the early morning hours. More than likely, our front is going to push on through pre-dawn hours. That's when we'll see our best chance of getting wet. Temperatures nice and mild right now. That's the way it will play for the rest of the evening. Notice Dallas, though, down to 52 degrees, and tomorrow, a much cooler day than today. We were in the 80s today. Tomorrow, we barely make the low to mid-60s. Rain chances first thing in the morning, but the sun back out tomorrow afternoon, and a chilly one tomorrow night. We'll have details on the front and your weekend forecast coming up in just a bit.
Thank you, Rob. Police tonight are investigating a UL office for missing money.
And in the middle of the turmoil, the director is found dead. KATC's Maddie Garrett joins us on the street with the story. Maddie.
Parking and Transit Director Simon Broussard was found dead Friday from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, just a day after the university fired him. All this while police are looking into allegations of theft here at the Parking and Transit office. On Thursday, UL fired 47-year-old Broussard. The university has yet to comment on the exact reason for termination. The next day, Baton Rouge police discover Broussard's body in a hotel room with a gunshot wound to the chest and a suicide note left behind. But do the dots connect? UL Police Sergeant Billy Abrams says it's too early to tell and can't say if Broussard is a suspect in the theft investigation.
We cannot say at this point whether he is or isn't a person of interest. It's on the investigation, and we cannot say anything to jeopardize the outcome of this case.
This is the third time in 4 years the office faced scrutiny for theft. In March 2007, then Director William Dudley was arrested for allegedly stealing large sums of money. Then in May, an employee was arrested. Now, the current theft investigation here at the Parking and Transit Office is separate from the case in May, where an employee stole $85,000. That employee, Nancy Eileen Hansen. Police say she stole periodically from the office from October 2009 to May.
We felt that she was the only one that was involved in that case.
Now, no one from UL would comment on camera today. President Joseph Savoy only releasing a statement saying the university is saddened by Broussard's death. 3's on the street tonight in Lafayette. I'm Maddie Garrett for KTC TV3.
Thanks, Maddie. An update tonight on the suicide of a Lake Charles teenager whose family says bullying is to blame.
Family and friends of Hannah Pauley stand by that point, but so far investigators say there's no evidence. Jim Hummel has the update.
I still don't have the words for it. What I felt when I saw my daughter laying there, blood everywhere, with a gunshot wound to the head, it broke me.
Len Pauley doesn't have a doubt. His daughter was bullied.
To an extreme that I believe that this was the controlling factor that she took her life with.
Family and friends say Hannah was teased by a handful of classmates at Barb High School, so bad she transferred to another school.
She couldn't take it anymore.
Courtney Satig was one of Hannah's best friends and classmates at Barb and remembers the teasing.
Called her mean names and some just like mean words, and then they'd just stare at her, and then she'd always get me and she'd be like, look, they're staring at me.
Its behavior, friends and family say, was also evident online and elsewhere. Hannah's grandma remembers a text message.
It said, why don't you just die?
As part of the investigation, the sheriff's office confiscated Hannah's cell phone and laptop.
Still have a couple people to talk to, but at this time we have absolutely no evidence to prove this would be considered a cyberbullying case.
But Hannah's dad stands by his claim.
Words can kill. She's proof. Words can kill.
Now, Hannah did leave behind a suicide note, but exactly what she said, her family doesn't know. They haven't seen that note. The sheriff's department has that, but deputies did tell her dad it did contain an apology to him. Live on set tonight, Jim Hummel, KTC TV3.
Thank you, Jim. A truck fire stopped traffic for a while this evening near I-10 in Lafayette Parish. The 18-wheeler full of hay caught fire near Highway 95 at the Dusson exit. Investigators say they believe one of the ties holding the bales of hay down got loose, sparking the fire. The truck was destroyed, but no one was hurt. Elsewhere tonight, the search is on in Broussard for suspects wanted in an armed robbery. Police say 2 men in either a blue or green Chevrolet Malibu pulled up to Morvant's Bar and Grill. One of the men went inside, pulled a knife, and got away with a bag of cash. If you have information on these suspects, call police.
A federal grant will help repair hurricane damage in St. Landry Parish. $2 million will go toward repairs still needed after Hurricanes Gustav and Ike. The money will help improve drainage in Krotz Springs, Kankton, Grand Coteau, and Sunset. But most of it will be used to replace the Park Avenue Bridge in Opelousas. Parish President Don Menard says the bridge is too small, making the area prone to flooding.
Been in terrible shape. And again, that's something that the city of Opelousas nor the parish of St. Landry could have afforded to do that. When you get rains from a storm like Gustav and Ike produced, that makes it even worse.
Several Iberia Parish doctors are joining forces to form a unique medical group. 8 doctors of various specialties creating the Legacy Medical Group, which will be located on the Dauterive Hospital campus. The new group will provide a variety of services, including minor surgery.
By working together, we can offer more services for our patients. We can offer a full in-house laboratory services and x-ray services, something that we can't do as individual physicians.
A warning tonight for anyone still trying to get their hands on LSU Alabama tickets. As ticket prices soar, investigators are warning against counterfeiters. Real tickets will have an A on the back, which is revealed by lightly scratching with a coin. The tickets also have a moving hologram on the front. Tickets that come from a season ticket pack have perforations on the top, bottom, and right sides.
And here's more news now from around the world in 80 seconds. A Russian jet crash that killed 44 people, including an entire professional hockey team, was caused by pilots inadvertently putting on the brakes during takeoff, then pulling the plane too sharply in a desperate attempt to finally get off the ground. The crash is one of the worst aviation disasters in sports history, shocking Russia and the world of hockey. At a nuclear press conference, a Japanese official voluntarily drinking water collected from puddles at two of Fukushima's reactor buildings. With his hands shaking and cameras clicking, he took a big gulp, looked at the glass still half full, and then down the remaining water. A man who narrowly escaped death at the hands of serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer and led police to Dahmer's grisly house of horrors 2 decades ago has been arrested and charged with a homicide of his own. Tracy Edwards is accused of throwing a man to his death off of a bridge in Milwaukee. In Florida, she loves SpongeBob but is also facing felony charges. A 9-year-old girl is arrested for going berserk on the bus. According to reports, she spat on the bus driver and hit a sheriff's deputy with a chair. Pennsylvania police releasing the surveillance video of a man shoplifting women's dresses and dancing about it. When he was confronted by store security, he threw down the dresses and ran out the front door of the store. The Austin City Council is expected to approve a $500,000 project to help cyclists get around. The Lance Armstrong Bikeway is a path that will eventually link East and West Austin. About 7,000 cyclists use it every week. And that's a look at news from around the world in 80 seconds for this Wednesday, November 2nd.
Still to come on Acadiana's News Channel at 10 o'clock, you are ranting tonight after 3 students say their school principal paddled them for being late to class. That's after Rob's forecast. You're watching Acadiana's News Channel at 10 o'clock.
From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, here's Rob Perillo's True View forecast.
Welcome back. Be ready for some big changes. Make sure you grab a jacket or sweater as you head out the door tomorrow. It's going to be a blustery day. Temperatures today in the 80s. Tomorrow will be hard-pressed to make the low to mid-60s and heading for the lower 40s tomorrow night. Wind chill not included. It's going to be a chilly one toward Friday morning. First off, though, we're already starting to see some changes on Power Doppler 3000. Actually, some light sprinkles starting to show up across portions of Calcasieu into southern Jeff Davis and Cameron Parish. And this is just what we call warm air advection coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. Some lift with the clouds and some light sprinkles showing up across the coastal parishes. And this will migrate inland later on this evening. Most of us, though, dry over the next several hours. Titan 3D showing us the front and illustrating it quite nicely. It's just about ready to hit the Shreveport area. It's east of Dallas, and just a very thin line of showers here, and it looks like the best lift, the best shower activity, and the wettest stuff is going to stay well to the north of us, but at least we'll have a little rain to settle the dust, but don't plan on too much. In fact, as we put the radar satellite composite in motion over the lower 48, we see our storm system, mainly a frontal boundary, producing showers across the Midwest. Snow on the back end of the system, and we saw that in the Rockies yesterday, and some nice snow across portions of Kansas, but this is where the coldest air is heading, mainly from west to east, but some of that will be dropping southward. And again, you can see that front firming up nicely tonight. You can see it quite clearly. Meanwhile, we have some mid-level clouds and those light sprinkles moving inland across the area. And today, 81 degrees. Tomorrow, about 20 degrees cooler for a high, maybe a little bit better than that. 54 the morning low, so temperatures close to normal. The drought continues to worsen. Boy, we need a good soaking rain. Might see that in the middle part of next week. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a bit. 67 degrees right now, though. South to southeast winds at about 5. That means our temperatures won't change a whole lot tonight. We see we got up into the lower 80s this afternoon, and that cold front showing up nice and sharply here, 71 in Tyler, but 52 in Dallas, and we'll get a taste of that by tomorrow afternoon. So here we go on your futurecast. The frontal boundary pushing on through the state as we head into the early morning hours. Best chance for getting wet will be between about 4 o'clock and about 7 o'clock in the morning. Then the front pushes on through, clears most of Acadiana by mid-morning, some lingering clouds, but by lunchtime or shortly thereafter, we'll see mostly sunny skies. It will be quite blustery, quite breezy, so Temperatures in the 60s dropping into the 50s. Will feel even colder than that. As for rainfall, not much expected in the bucket, perhaps 1/10 of an inch of rain, but rain totals are going to be quite light, so whatever rain we see will settle the dust for maybe one day. So tonight in the 60s, tomorrow dropping into the 50s, but the sun comes out tomorrow afternoon, so we'll push it into the mid-60s. Then tomorrow night, the cool air moving in will favor lower 40s, and then lots of sunshine for your Friday. Looks great as we head into the weekend, albeit on the cool side. So tonight, look out for showers mainly after about 4 o'clock in the morning. Then tomorrow, morning shower, but right around daybreak. Other than that, we'll see the skies clearing, breezy, much cooler. And as we head into the weekend, nice and cool. Looks great for the Ragin' Cajun game. Also for the LSU-Alabama game, temperatures there will be in the lower 60s. And as we go into next week, it does look like better rain chances, hopefully along about the Tuesday.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Rob. Your rants are next, everybody.
We have got to
City
do
Council needs
something.
to get their act together.
Taxes in this country are out of control. Last time I checked, I didn't have any more money to give.
As we reported last night here at 10 o'clock, school authorities in Sunset are investigating a corporal punishment incident.
3 students say their principal paddled them for being late for class. Sunset Elementary Principal Margaret Rito says she can't comment on the allegations because of school policies, but did say it is under investigation. We spoke to the kids' parents who say they never gave the school permission to use corporal punishment on their children, all 3 honor students with no prior infractions.
Tonight, Janae rants, I think a spanking is a little harsh for being late for class. These girls didn't harm anyone by going to the bathroom. Now, if they had been fighting, then I would understand. Why not write them up first? Tia says it was okay back in the day to paddle us, and we turned out just fine. The only difference is my mother didn't play that. They called her, and she paddled us in front of the principal. Now, that's what you call parenting. Shay says it's not up to the school officials to teach kids right from wrong. That's the stuff that needs to be taught at home. Sherry says paddling should be banned. School personnel are educated and should show that by using other consequences to help guide children. But Tommy says, bring back the paddle. It worked for my generation. Mary Catherine counters that with this. Studies have shown that violence used for discipline only encourages the child to use violence to get results in future conflicts. God forbid we ever advance and try other more effective methods than the primitive hands-on method. Brandy tonight is writing in, the parents signed a form stating that paddling was not to be used. Why then did the principal send forms home for us parents to sign if she was going to disregard them and do as she pleased? Got a rant? Email me at roy.harris@katctv.com. Welcome back, everybody. Taste of the Town spicing up River Ranch this evening.
That's right. Restaurants along Main Street in River Ranch serving up several dishes. The money raised tonight goes to Habitat for Humanity to pay for a house that will be dedicated later this week.
Having the dedication Friday at 1:30. We're going to give her her keys, and it's a wonderful thing. So she'll be in for the holidays to be able to enjoy Thanksgiving dinner with her family.
Well, it is time for sports, and the Ragin' Cajuns finally getting something they have been searching for quite some time.
Oh, yeah. Yes, you always hear the song at UL baseball, basketball, football games, RESPECT. Well, they're getting it finally. Let's keep with the rhymes. More in sports next.
Now it's time for sports with KATC's Travis Webb.
As a football coach, I don't like to talk about it with our team. But on the other hand, it's not a bad thing when all you fans are fired up and wanting to go to a bowl and making reservations.
While the excitement of UL's impending bowl invitation has hit a fever pitch here in Acadiana, that wasn't the case to begin the year. National pundits predicted UL near the bottom of not only the Sun Belt Conference, but all of the FBS, leading Coach Hudspeth to use the motto, "Say my name," as a rallying cry in the summer. Experts around the nation are certainly saying the Cajuns' name not only as a Sun Belt favorite, but was one of the biggest surprises of the entire college football season. UL is poised to snap the university's 41-year-old bowlless streak. Just like that bowl berth, respect is earned, not given, and both have certainly been earned by the Ragin' Cajuns.
I definitely think we've gotten people's respect. I think anytime you take a team that was picked to be 116 or 120 in the country, and at one point we was 32 in the BCS poll, I think we've had to open some eyes, that's for sure. But, you know, we don't harp on any of that. All we are looking at is we're trying to get better.
The Cajuns will try to get better Saturday. Look for win number 8 on the year on Senior Day, UL and ULM from the Swamp at 2 37. After years of strain last season, Bob Marlin and legendary head coach Burl Shipley helped bring UL's present and illustrious past together with reunion weekend. Now, after Shipley's passing this past spring, the Cajuns are making even more inroads towards bridging the gap. The Cajuns opened the home slate this year at the Burl Shipley Classic in late November, but today the Shipley Classic committee announcing that a bust of Coach Shipley will be erected in the Cajun Dome to memorialize the Cajuns' all-time wins leader. Former Cajuns hope that the bust will help future UL players realize the proud tradition of the Raging Cajuns.
You're looking at generations coming, they're going to want to know why he's there, what he did, and I think there's going to be a lot of people my age that will be ready to tell them. I think Bob Marlin and Burl Shipley together started that, and I think it was with a solid foundation because of that, and I think everybody's tickled to death with it.
You can check out Coach Shipley's bust, plus this year's edition of the Raging Cajuns for the first time at the Shipley Classic. Action starts Friday, November 18th, with the Cajuns facing Houston Baptist at 7:30 and runs through that Sunday. Sports, there's a line between emotion and reckless abandon. Teams must skirt it very carefully in order to achieve their maximum potential. The emotions will certainly run high Saturday for top-ranked LSU when it faces number 2 Alabama. But how much emotion is too much? Coach Miles thinks his Tigers can never have enough with the stakes as high as they are.
I want our guys to play with emotion and passion, and frankly, I don't know how high too jacked up is. I've not seen where our guys have not been able to play a thinking man's game with the excitement and the passion of jacked up, to use your words.
Coaches will tell you that in order to win, you have to dominate in all 3 phases: offense, defense, and special teams. Vermilion Catholic's Michael Campbell seemed to take that notion to heart last Friday. The sophomore cornerback and running back scored here a 19-yard interception return and would later make a mark in special teams, scoring touchdowns on a punt and kick return in a 54-0 round of Ascension Pistol. That unbelievable night, Michael is this week's KATC's Player of the Week. Congratulations. His Eagles look to cap off an undefeated regular season Friday on the road at Central Catholic Morgan City. Make sure to join KATC Sports and the Daily Advertiser for our premiere bracket breakdown. Log into KATC.com for the exclusive live webcast, 3:30 on Sunday. We'll break down the high school brackets class by class and give you everything you need to know to get ready for the road to the dome. It'll be a fun playoff season. Lots of strong teams. And myself, Kevin Foote, Bruce Brown, Andy Burrell will be all there to tell you all about it and get you know what you need to know.
All right. Thanks, Trav.
Thank you, Travis. We'll be right back.
A quick moving front coming in right around daybreak. Maybe a few showers first thing in the morning. Breezy, sharply cooler tomorrow with temperatures staying in the 60s, perhaps dropping into the 50s. Good looking weekend ahead. A cool start, mild finish. And next week, maybe some healthy thunderstorms along about Tuesday, Wednesday. Much needed rain.
Haven't heard that in a while.
Bring us a little rain, just not too much in one big old package.